Hey everyone, welcome back. We're kicking off the new year by diving into something that could really make a difference, especially for us here in Missoula.
Yeah, dry January.
Exactly. We're going deep on dry January and what it could mean for you, especially when it comes to your health. We've got a whole bunch of articles and research lined up all about dry January, the benefits of not drinking, and even some cool alcohol-free drinks you might want to try.
It's pretty interesting. We're seeing a huge increase in people who are thinking about trying dry January. It's becoming more than just like a trend. It shows how much we're learning about what alcohol does to our bodies and minds.
For sure. One article I was reading said that last year, in 2024, 27% of U.S. adults were seriously thinking about doing dry January. That's like over a quarter of the whole country. Imagine if Missoula was leading the nation in dry January participation. I bet it could really change things for our community's health and well-being.
I think it could definitely happen, especially here in Missoula. We're all about that healthy living, being outdoors. Dry January just kind of fits right in with that.
Totally. And, when you hear about all the people who have tried dry January and how well it's worked for them, it's pretty motivating. One person even said that they actually started choosing not to drink sometimes because they didn't want to. Can you believe that? Like they were losing weight, sleeping better, and feeling more focused.
Wow, yeah, that's a real mental shift.
Right. Those are the kinds of benefits we can all relate to. I mean, those are benefits we can feel.
Definitely tangible improvements that can change how we experience life here in Missoula. I mean, just imagine having more energy for those hikes up Mount Sentinel or being more alert on those long drives through the Bitterroot Valley.
Okay, you're making me want to try it already. But I'm curious about the science part of it. Like,
Yeah.
what's actually going on inside our bodies when we stop drinking, even just for a month? What's the deal with these awesome benefits everyone keeps talking about?
Well, one article we have 6 things that happen to your body when you stop drinking. It actually breaks that down. It says that when you stop drinking, your liver gets a break and it can start to repair itself from any damage that might have happened from drinking before.
So while we're out enjoying all the fun stuff Missoula has to offer, our livers are taking a vacation.
Pretty much.
What else is going on in there during that booze-free month?
Well, your heart health gets better. Even just cutting back for a month can lower your risk of heart disease. And let's be real for a second. With all the delicious food and craft beer we have here in Missoula, I think we could all use a little heart healthy boost now and then.
I know I could. And speaking of all that yummy food and craft beer, the article mentions that weight loss is another possible benefit of dry January.
You got it. Alcohol has a surprising number of calories, so cutting it out can really help you shed a few pounds. It's not about depriving ourselves, it's just about finding a balance,
Yeah.
something that's good for our health.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that, especially after the holidays. But let's go back to the science stuff for a minute. The article also says something about improved brain function. Is that for real?
It is. Alcohol can mess with how our brains work, especially for anyone under 21. So if there are any University of Montana students out there listening, doing dry January could be a great way to sharpen your focus for those midterms coming up.
Like hitting the reset button on your brain. And what about sleep? I've heard a ton of people say they sleep so much better during dry January.
It makes sense. Alcohol messes with our sleep patterns even if we fall asleep easily after a drink or two. We don't get as much deep sleep, the kind that really helps us recharge. And that's super important if you want to enjoy all the awesome outdoor adventures Missoula has to offer.
Okay, I can definitely see how getting good sleep would make those early morning hikes a lot more fun. All this talk about better sleep and being more focused is making me think about something else that's really important, especially here in Missoula, where we do so much driving. And that is, driving safely.
Absolutely. We all know drinking impairs our judgment and slows down our reaction time, even if we've only had one drink. And it's not something to take lightly, especially in a place like Missoula where we're always on the road.
I've got to ask, is it actually safe to just stop drinking cold turkey? What about withdrawal? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a great question and something to consider. The 6 Things article mentioned that withdrawal symptoms can be anything from a mild headache or some anxiety to more serious stuff like seizures. This is especially true for people who have been drinking a lot.
So what should someone do if they're worried about those withdrawal symptoms?
If anyone's been drinking a lot or has any concerns, the best thing is to talk to a doctor before making any big changes. They can help you figure out a safe plan. And don't forget, there are resources right here in Missoula for people who might need help with alcohol dependence.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It's good to know we've got support systems in place. But before we move on, I want to remind everyone that dry January doesn't have to be boring. There are tons of yummy alcohol-free drinks out there that can actually make this whole experience more fun.
I totally agree. That's where our next article comes in. 9 new alcohol-free drinks for dry January. It's full of creative and tasty alternatives that can help you stay social and enjoy going out in Missoula without the booze.
Ooh, all right, I'm interested. Tell me more about these alcohol-free wonders.
Well, picture yourself sipping a refreshing mocktail at one of Missoula's rooftop bars, with those amazing mountain views in the background. Same cool atmosphere, but no hangover the next day.
Okay, that actually sounds perfect. And since we're known for our craft breweries here in Missoula, I'm guessing there's some alcohol-free options popping up at those places too, right?
Absolutely. Many of our local breweries are now making really good non-alcoholic beers. So you can still support those local businesses and enjoy the flavors you love. You might even find a new favorite.
Okay, dry January is already starting to sound more and more appealing. What about for those special occasions? Are there any festive alcohol-free drinks for those times?
You bet. There are some amazing de-alcoholized sparkling wines out there. You can still raise a glass to celebrate those big moments without the downsides of alcohol.
I love that. It's good to know we have so many choices. This is starting to feel less like a challenge and more like a chance to try something new and exciting.
Ugh.
But I gotta ask, is it really possible to have fun in Missoula without alcohol?
I think we need to rethink what fun means. Fun doesn't have to involve alcohol. There are so many ways to enjoy ourselves, connect with others, and experience the energy of Missoula without a drop of booze. We've got world-class hiking trails, live music venues, art galleries, farmers markets, and a community that loves all kinds of stuff.
So true. We often just automatically connect social gatherings with drinking. But it's really the company, those shared experiences, and the genuine connections that make those times memorable.
I completely agree. And by taking a break from alcohol, we might even find ourselves more present and in the moment, which could help us build stronger connections with the people and places we care about.
That's a great point. So how can we make this dry January thing more enjoyable and less about feeling deprived?
I think it starts with changing how we think about it. Instead of focusing on what we're giving up, let's shift our attention to what we're gaining. Better health, more energy, clearer thinking, deeper sleep, and a chance to really appreciate those special Missoula moments.
I love that. It's about embracing the good stuff that comes with this challenge and seeing it as a chance to grow and learn new things.
Exactly. And hey, we don't have to go it alone. There are tons of resources and support systems out there, both online and here in Missoula. We've got awesome organizations that can provide guidance, support, and treatment options for anyone who needs them.
It's good to remember we're not alone in this, and there's no shame in asking for help if we need it.
For sure. One of the best things about Missoula is the strong sense of community here. People are so supportive and understanding. I bet anyone who decides to try dry January will find a ton of encouragement along the way.
That's one of the many reasons why Missoula is so special. We look out for each other. So if you're thinking about giving dry January a try, I encourage you to go for it and see what positive changes it brings. You might surprise yourself.
Absolutely. It's a chance to step outside your comfort zone, try new things, and connect with yourself and our community in a deeper way.
This has been such a great conversation.
Hmm.
I'm already feeling inspired to give dry January a shot and see what it's all about. But before we wrap up part one of this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
Okay, I'm all for a good challenge. What is it?
Think about everything that makes Missoula unique, all those flavors and experiences. If you could invent the perfect non-alcoholic drink that captures the spirit of Missoula, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm already trying to come up with ideas.
Me too. We
Well,
want to hear what you come up with, so share your ideas with us on social media.
And make sure you tune in for part 2, where we'll go even deeper into the social side of dry January and talk about how we can all create a more welcoming and supportive environment for people who choose not to drink.
Welcome back to our deep dive into dry January Missoula style.
Yeah, last time we were talking about all the health benefits, right? Giving your liver a much-needed break, improving your heart health, even sleeping better.
It's amazing how our bodies can kind of reset themselves, even just taking a month off from alcohol. And when you think about everything we love to do here in Missoula, all the hiking, skiing, biking, checking out the farmers markets, those health benefits can really make those experiences even better.
Totally. And beyond just those personal benefits, there's a bigger conversation happening, I think, about how alcohol fits into our social lives, especially here in Missoula.
Yeah, one of the articles we've been looking at, a quarter of Americans participated in dry January. Here's what it could mean moving forward. talks about that. It basically says dry January isn't just a personal challenge anymore. It's becoming more about our values, what we care about as a society.
That's so
It
interesting.
really is. It's like dry January is kind of shifting our culture toward more mindful drinking,
Yeah.
making us question if alcohol really needs to be a part of every social gathering.
Yeah, like challenging those assumptions we have. And it's not about judging anyone for their choices. It's more about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable, whether they drink or not.
That reminds me, it's not about feeling deprived. It's about finding other things that are just as fun and exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why we're seeing all these creative, non-alcoholic drinks popping up everywhere, like
Oh.
mocktails made with local berries and herbs, even those alcohol-free beers brewed right here in town.
It's pretty amazing to see how businesses here in Missoula are embracing this, making it so much easier to find delicious drinks that aren't alcoholic. It's
It's all about making it normal to choose not to drink and showing that you can still have a fun social life without alcohol being the main focus.
Speaking of social situations, I think a lot of people worry about those moments, like how to navigate parties and stuff when they're not drinking. There's that fear of being judged or having to explain yourself.
Oh, yeah, I get that. And there's some good advice in considering dry January. Set yourself up for success. It talks about just saying, I'm not drinking tonight, or mentioning that you're doing dry January, being clear and confident about your choice.
Right. And if you're feeling a little shy about it, there's always the classic soda water with lime. Looks just like a cocktail. No one needs to know the difference. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for you and remembering you don't owe anyone an explanation.
This whole conversation really shows how Missoula is changing, becoming more open and supportive of different choices and lifestyles.
Definitely. It's about recognizing that there's no one right way to be healthy and happy. Everyone gets to decide what that means for them.
There's one part of dry January, and it can be kind of sensitive, and that's the possibility of withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be aware of. Especially if you've been drinking heavily, it's important to be cautious.
The article, Should You Do Dry January? Experts Weigh In, from MD Anderson Cancer Center, has some good guidelines on how to figure out if dry January is right for you.
It really stresses that if someone is struggling with alcohol dependence, dry January might not be the best idea. They might need a different plan to cut back safely, maybe something with medical supervision.
And that's when it's super important to reach out for professional help. We've got amazing resources here in Missoula that offer support, guidance, and treatment.
It's important to remember that asking for help is not a weakness, it's a sign of strength. Taking care of yourself is important.
I completely agree. So, even though dry January can be a fun and empowering challenge for many people, we have to be mindful of the risks and put safety first.
Absolutely. And it's not about judging anyone or making them feel bad. It's about creating an environment where we can all make informed choices about alcohol and support each other in finding a healthier, happier life.
I love that perspective. It's about being understanding and compassionate, knowing we're all on our own journey.
Exactly. And one of the things that really excites me about this whole trend is that it's not just about giving something up. It's about opening ourselves up to new experiences and broadening our idea of what it means to have fun.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
like we're discovering a whole new world of possibilities. Instead of always turning to alcohol, we're exploring different ways to connect, celebrate, and relax.
And Missoula is the perfect place for that. We have such a vibrant and diverse community with so many activities and events that don't revolve around alcohol.
It's true. We have art walks, concerts, festivals, yoga studios, hiking trails, book clubs, you name it. There's something for everyone here, regardless of whether they drink or not.
And you know what? I think this shift toward mindful drinking is actually making us appreciate those experiences even more. When we're not relying on alcohol, we're more present and in tune with what's happening around us.
Yeah, you're right. It's like we're rediscovering the joy of being in nature, connecting with ourselves, and spending time with people we care about.
And that's what I love about Missoula. We have this incredible natural beauty all around us and a community that values being real and making connections. It's the perfect place to explore a healthier, more mindful way of living.
I couldn't agree more. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive into dry January, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay.
Think about what makes Missoula special for you. What are those places, activities, or experiences that really capture the spirit of our town? And how might taking a break from alcohol change how much you enjoy those things?
That's a really good question. It's about rediscovering the magic of Missoula in a new way.
Exactly. You never know. You might find a new favorite spot, discover a hidden gem, or start to appreciate those little things that make Missoula so unique. And welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring dry January and all the different ways it can impact our lives, especially here in Missoula.
We've talked about the science, the social side of things, and how Missoula is getting on board with this whole trend.
But you know what really brings it all home? Hearing from people who have actually made the choice to live a sober life.
Yeah, those personal stories are so powerful.
It's those real-life experiences that really hit you in the feels.
Yeah, definitely. One source that really stuck with me was an episode of NPR's Life Kit called Taking a Break from Alcohol. They interviewed people from all sorts of backgrounds who had decided to stop drinking, and their insights were amazing.
I remember that one. One person talked about how not drinking helped them be more present in their relationships, especially with their kids.
Yeah, they were saying that alcohol was like a wall between them and their kids, keeping them from truly experiencing the joy of being a parent.
That's deep, man.
It really makes you think about how alcohol can sometimes make us numb to the good stuff in life.
It's like we're not fully there.
Exactly.
There was another person who talked about how getting sober led to a burst of creativity for them.
Oh, yeah, they rediscovered their passion for art. They said their mind was clearer and they had more energy to focus without alcohol in the picture.
It's amazing how breaking free from habits that might be holding us back can open up all these new possibilities.
Like getting sober can be this catalyst for growth, helping us find those things that light us up inside.
But it's not always a walk in the park, right? And there are going to be challenges and moments of doubt.
Of course, it's not easy, but what's so inspiring is seeing how resilient people are, how determined they are to stick with it. They find support, they learn how to cope, and they come out stronger on the other side.
And it's not just about individual journeys either, right? It's about creating a whole culture where sobriety is something to celebrate and support.
Absolutely. One of the things we read about was the rise of sober bars and events all over the country. These spaces provide a safe and welcoming place for people who choose not to drink, where they can connect and have fun without any pressure.
It's about breaking down those stereotypes and showing people that choosing not to drink doesn't mean missing out on life.
In fact, it often means experiencing life more fully.
Exactly.
And that's a message that really resonates in Missoula.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're all about being genuine, making connections, and living life to the max.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into dry January, we want to leave you with a sense of hope and possibility. Whether you're thinking about trying a month without alcohol, or just being more mindful about your drinking, or even just curious about the Sober Curious movement, remember that you're not alone on this journey.
There are so many people out there who are embracing a healthier and more conscious way of thinking about alcohol. And there's support, resources, and amazing stories to guide you along the way.
And Missoula is such an awesome place to start that journey. With all the beautiful scenery, the vibrant social scene, and the focus on well-being, you'll find yourself surrounded by support and inspiration everywhere you look.
You might even discover a whole new side of yourself, a joy and freedom you never knew existed.
So if you're feeling inspired, take that leap. Dive into dry January and see where it takes you.
You might be surprised at what you find.
And remember, whether you do dry January or not, the most important thing is to make choices that feel right for you, both for your body and your mind. Listen to yourself, take care of yourself, and create a lifestyle that helps you thrive.
That's what it's all about, right? Living a life that feels true to you, full of joy, and in line with your values.
You said it. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into dry January. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little life-changing.
We had a blast exploring this with you.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and keep exploring all the amazing things Missoula has to offer. Cheers.